Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal. I just want to start this video off by saying a big Happy New Year to you all. Thank you very much for all your support during 2020. I've loved doing this channel, starting this channel and watching it grow. It's been really enjoyable. Thank you so much for all your support in that. And I just wanted to say Happy New Year. Look, 2020 has been pretty crap, let's face it. It's been a pretty horrendous year for reasons that we all know. But here's hoping that we can soon start to come through this and get some sort of normality back in 2021. Proves to be a much better, more enjoyable, more social year than we've certainly just experienced. 2020, I think we can all say, as I watch an ambulance drive past the road outside me as I'm speaking, which kind of sums it up, it's been pretty miserable. We did have the FA Cup win to remember in a pretty bleak year though, so there is that, and I just hope you've all got through the year as best as you possibly can, and that we can all look forward now to 2021 with a little bit more positivity, and we can get back to normality very soon. Right, it is the 1st of January, it is 2021, and so it is January transfer window time, and I thought I'd just pop on first day of the month, first day of the transfer window, and just give my thoughts on what could be ahead for Arsenal in the next 4 weeks in the transfer window, what I expect might happen. I mean, look, I'll caveat it here, things can change in the transfer window very quickly, but I thought I'd just run through the possible incomings, possible outgoings, what Arteta thinks, and just sort of round things up for a nice start of the month first video. So let's get going, shall we? Incomings, let's talk about incomings. I think that's what you all care about, really. I don't think you're going to have too much to be excited about this month. I have to say, that's not to say nothing will happen, but I just think given the climate, given the financial issues that Arsenal and all football clubs are suffering at the moment, I'm not expecting masses of money to be spent. I do think there will be plenty of business done, whether it be loans, that sort of thing. But in terms of big, exciting, wow signings like your Thomas Parteys, like your Gabriels, I'm just not expecting that. I'm thinking it'll be to the summer when Arsenal really have a go at that sort of new signing again. But they do want to do some business this summer, this January. There's no doubt about it. They are looking to bring players in with that creative midfielder, the sort of top of the agenda type player. We all know Arsenal had a long-term interest in Dominic Szoboszlai. That obviously isn't going to happen anymore. He made the move from Salzburg to Leipzig, like so many players do with that sort of Red Bull connection. So that's not one to happen. Houssem Aouar was obviously the big talking point of the summer and ran through most of the summer. Didn't happen in the end. I always get lots of questions, are Arsenal going to go back in for Aouar in January? I can't see that happening. I'll say that right now. I just think it's going to cost too much money. I think Lyon are top of Liga at the moment as well, and flying and really having a go at beating PSG to the title. I cannot see there's any way that Orlis is going to let Aouar or any of his top players go at this stage of the season when the Champions League's on the line, Champions League qualifications on the line, when the title's on the line, when they've given them such a good chance of winning the title over in France. So I just think that one is not one to even sort of really think about this summer. This January, it's just too much money and there's too much going on at Lyon for something like that to happen. Emi Buendia at Norwich is another one I get lots of questions about, a player that Arsenal certainly do like, that they've scouted extensively, they've watched an awful lot of in the last few years. Haven't made a move for him yet. That remains to be the case as far as I'm aware, despite plenty of talk and sort of rumour on social media. I don't think Arsenal have made any move for Buendia. He is represented by the same people who represent Emi Martinez, so Arsenal have a very good relationship with his representatives, but and Buendia, he's playing in the Championship at the moment. Obviously, he's going to be open to a move to Arsenal should that happen, or to the Premier League in January. But Norwich, again, they're not going to let him go for cheap. They want to come back up. He's going to be key and influential to that. So I don't think Buendia is one that would happen in January. I think if you're looking for a creative player that Arsenal might well sign, it's going to be more in the loan market, and that brings us to Isco, who I obviously spoke about in yesterday's video. A player that Arsenal are interested in, a player who does want to get out of Real Madrid in January to get regular game time. So those two sort of things tick all the boxes, but there are issues, as I mentioned in yesterday's video. The fact that Real Madrid aren't too keen on letting Isco out at this stage of the season. They haven't got the biggest of squads, Real Madrid. They didn't sign anyone last summer because of COVID and the financial issues going on there. they're lagging behind Atletico in the title race. They're already playing catch up. They're a couple of points behind, and Atletico got a couple of games in hand as well. So Real are going to need everyone during the second half of the season if they want to win La Liga. So they don't really want to weaken their squad at the moment, even though Isco is not a regular starter for them. He does still come on as a substitute fairly regularly. So it's a bit of a waiting game for that. His representatives aren't sure whether Real Madrid are going to be releasing him or allowing him to leave this month. There is interest from other clubs in Spain as well. There's rumours in Spain, nothing that I've had backed up, that he prefers a move to Spain if he is allowed to go. He prefers a move to possibly Sevilla. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. But so there are difficulties when it comes to Arsenal signing Isco. But that is the sort of signing that if they are going to make this window, I believe it'd be something like that, more of a loan short-term option to get them through till the summer when they can have a really good go at it. I've given my thoughts on that before in this video. I'm not so sure. I don't really like the idea too much of it, especially with Emil Smith-Rowe now playing really well, and the fact you've got Mesut Ozil already in the squad not playing. What's the point of bringing in another highly paid number 10 creative player when you've got one already in the squad that you're not even using? Doesn't really make too much sense to me on a business level or on a football level, but what do I know? I'm just a football reporter. I'm not a football manager or a technical director. So that's where we are really with that in terms of incomings. I'm not expecting too much. I'm not expecting loads of money to be spent. Arsenal are looking at strikers. Potentially a goalkeeper might come in. I think that should really be a priority given what we've seen of Alex Runarsson so far this season. I'd be very, very fearful if Bernd Leno got injured for any significant amount of time between now and the end of the season. So that is maybe something they might look to bring in and think they do need to strengthen in that department. They are looking at strikers, but I think that's something more for the summer, not January. I can't see Arsenal bringing a striker in at this point of the season. It's going to be one for the end of the season when they can really assess what's happening with Lacazette and that sort of thing. So creative midfielder, potentially a goalkeeper. I think that's what you're looking at in the January transfer window when it comes to incomings. Right, in terms of outgoings, well, we've seen that already get underway. I mean, this is the priority for Arsenal this window, is getting players out the door, and it's already started that process with Sead Kolasinac joining Schalke yesterday. He is going to spend the rest of the season on loan at his former club. Edu said Sead needs to be playing regularly, so we decided together that a move back to Germany with Schalke will benefit him at the moment. We'll be keeping in close contact with Sead and wish him huge success for the remainder of the season with Schalke. Good deal for Kolasinac, going back to his former club, a club that he loves. Good deal for Arsenal. They're not paying any of his wages, I'm told, which did seem to be the case at some point yesterday. There was talk of that, but I've been told now from sources at Arsenal that they are not paying any of his wages, and it's since come out in Germany as well that he's agreed to a wage cut to make that move, which is potentially why Arsenal don't have to cover any of his wages. So fair play to Kolasinac. He wanted to play, he's got his opportunity, and he's going back to a club that he loves. And I wonder if other players are going to follow his lead when it comes to that. You look at Mesut Ozil, I doubt it. Arsenal would love Mesut Ozil to get out the door in January, but he's already obviously steadfastly refused to do that, and that's his right. He's got his contract. Him and his agent have always said, we'll see out his contract and see what happens in the summer when he's a free agent. So I can't imagine he will do what Kolasinac did and just go out and play to get game time. Although that would be a very beneficial move for Arsenal, and if I was Ozil, I'd want to do it, but I'm not Ozil, and I wish I was. And the same goes for Sokratis as well. Obviously, he's not playing at the moment. I think he is the more likely of the two who aren't registered in the Premier League to go in January if one of them is to leave. I think it'd be more likely to be Sokratis. Potentially there might be something Arsenal can do with paying up the last 6 months of his contract if Sokratis can find himself a really decent club. If not, he's perfectly within his right to wait until the summer, keep picking up his money at Arsenal, and then have his choice of anyone when he's a free agent in summer, because he's got a contract and Arsenal gave him that contract. So I'm not going to sit here and blame Sokratis if he's not going to do that. But I think out of the two who aren't registered, potentially Sokratis is the more likely to leave. Other players who might go, William Saliba, I think he definitely will go in January. That'll happen fairly soon. I'm pretty sure that's going to be all wrapped up with a club in the coming weeks. He'll be heading out on loan until the end of the season. Good move for him. He needs it. He needs to play football. It hasn't worked out for him for Arsenal so far for whatever reason, and he needs to go out and play games and hopefully come back in the summer and be ready to compete for a spot in the squad. Callum Chambers, I wouldn't be surprised as well. He needs minutes. He's come back from his injury. Be good for him to go out and get some regular game time between now and the end of the season to strengthen up that knee, and again come back in the summer and see where he stands at Arsenal. Other players who could potentially go if Arsenal could find buyers, I'd look at Mustafi. If that would be the case. Obviously, we've seen the Barcelona stuff, the Barcelona links. I've been told from sources in Barcelona that he will not be joining them, but the links are still there. Reece Nelson as well. I spoke about it in the video yesterday. I asked Mikel Arteta about Nelson. He said the reason he's not been playing is because he's been injured. But I still wouldn't be surprised if he was to go out on loan. I just think you look at now the formation that Arteta's playing. He's got Saka on the right. That means you've got Saka, Pepe, Willian, who can play in that position that Reece Nelson plays in. Is he going to get minutes between now and the end of the season? There's not even the Europa League group stages anymore to play in, so game time's going to be really tough to come by for Nelson. So I do wonder if the opportunity arises whether Arsenal might agree to send Nelson out on loan for the remainder of the season, possibly to Germany, somewhere like that, or even lower down in the Premier League. Some of the other youngsters might well go, like Daniel Ballard. He's at Blackpool at the moment. That loan will be extended soon, I've been told, so he'll be heading out, and there are plenty of other youngsters at Arsenal will look to get loan deals done for between now and the end of the season. So that's about it for Outgoings as well. In terms of what Mikel Arteta's priority is this summer, he told us yesterday, he said, look, we have a large squad, we know that, and a lot of things we wanted to do in the summer we couldn't accomplish for different reasons. There are some players that are going to go out on loan, they are going to leave, and that's the priority at the moment. We cannot sustain the numbers we have in terms of players. We are looking to do that, and we'll see if we have the right opportunities in the positions that we need some more help. We are working with the club to find that. So Arteta basically admitting, look, priority is certainly for the first half of the window, get players out, try and free up space in the squad, because there's too many players. It's unsustainable. He's admitted that, and it is absolutely unsustainable. The mistakes in the summer, letting Arsenal go into this season with too big a squad that players had to be left out and not even registered, was just such a huge error, and it's definitely caused problems behind the scenes. So trying to rectify that in this window will be key for Arsenal. Arteta admitting it there, and then should they be able to do that, should they be able to free up space in the squad, then they can look to potentially bring in an Isco or someone like that, bring in some sort of creative player if they want to. You think they've already freed up one space now with Kolasinac? Can they do any more? That's going to be what Arsenal are working on between now and the end of the season. That's about it for the transfer window. I just wanted to come on and just say what I expect in the coming month, what we might see happen. So that's about it. Obviously, Friday morning today. Tomorrow I will be heading up to the Hawthorns for what I'm expecting to be a freezing cold night in the Midlands. Arsenal versus West Brom to kick off 2021. I will be up there. Can Arsenal make it 3 Premier League wins in a row? Fingers crossed they can. I will pop on tomorrow morning, hopefully, and do another one of the videos looking ahead to that game, looking at the team news, predicted 11, all that sort of stuff. And that's about where we are. One thing of team news, I'm not expecting Thomas Partey to be available yet. Obviously, Arsenal put out team news yesterday and suggested that as well. But from what I hear from Thomas Partey, that he's definitely not yet ready for return to action. But he's getting very, very close. And fingers crossed, next week we will see Thomas Partey back in full training. And that horrible cliche of like a new signing, it is going to be like a new signing. Look, he was the player we were all so excited about in the summer. We've seen what he can do in glimpses, but injury has absolutely robbed us of watching him properly for the first half of the season. Hopefully, as long as he gets himself back fully fit now and Arsenal don't take any risks with him and he comes back ready to go, then he is going to be like that new signing. Put him in the central midfield, especially behind this new front four that Arteta's playing with Emil Smith-Rowe at number 10. Suddenly you've got a very, very different and dynamic looking Arsenal team, which is something we haven't seen too much of between the beginning of the season and now. Thank you for watching, everyone. As I said at the start of the video, have a wonderful 2021. Thank you for all your support in 2020. I've appreciated it. And here's to fingers crossed to a much, much better 2021. Speak to you soon.